When you see this image, you probably have a few thoughts that instantly pop into your head. That's Ned Kelly, the bushranger and heavy metal enthusiast hanged for his outlaw ways. You may even think of what are allegedly his final words: "Such is life." What you may not know is that the story gets stranger still after his death, with the perplexing mystery surrounding the disappearing skull of Ned Kelly. After Ned Kelly's execution at Old Melbourne Jail on the 11th of November 1880, a death mask was made of his face and his remains were buried on the prison grounds. His bones would lay undisturbed for almost 50 years until they were exhumed along with other long-deceased criminals during prison demolition works. The digging at the jail caused a sensation, with workers and onlookers alike scrambling to grab the bones of prisoners as grisly mementos, including the skull of Ned Kelly. A worker was said to have retrieved Kelly's skull from the mob and handed it to prison authorities. Instead of being reunited with the rest of his remains, Kelly's skull first landed in the hands of the Australian Institute of Anatomy in Canberra, before being returned and put on display at Old Melbourne Jail. Kelly's skull would again go missing in 1978 and came into the possession of a farmer in Western Australia who kept it in a plastic container wedged inside a hollow log. The farmer later handed the skull to forensic scientists who tried to determine if it really was the skull of Ned Kelly. And after comparing its DNA to that of one of Kelly's descendants, it turned out it wasn't. And if it wasn't any clearer, Kelly's skeleton was later rediscovered with a small fragment from the back of his skull. The misidentified skull was fully intact and definitely not Ned Kelly's. It had been put on display, stolen, and made its way from one side of Australia to another across several decades, but belonged to someone else. The actual skull of Ned Kelly is still missing to this day, and there are no firm leads of what may have actually happened to it. Was it pulverized during the excavations at Old Melbourne Jail so many years ago? Or perhaps it really was stolen and is gathering dust in a private collection, its owner unaware of its significance? We may never know, but I'd love to find out.